We're starting with a debate that Succession star Brian Cox has started recently. It is still going. So he said that reserving roles for actors with the same lived experiences as the character, for instance, casting a person with a disability to play Stephen Hawking, ignores the craft of acting, he says, and might actually be exploitative. Who wants to dive in first? Kai, why don't we throw this to you? Does he have a point or is he totally offside?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm dying to answer this question. So I'm just going to be a little spicy. I really think that Cox is super off here. It's a little bit insulting, honestly, that the idea that actors who are of the lived experience being portrayed, so a trans woman playing a trans woman or a Black person playing a Black person, like all of these things, to say that it ignores the craft of acting, ignores the fact that those actors are also actors. A trans actress has studied her craft, has gone to auditions, has really worked hard on becoming the performer that she is, and that's true for any actor of marginalized lived experience. So I honestly think it's a little insulting to say it ignores that fact. And then around exploitation, I honestly believe that an actor's experience on set is determined by how they're treated on set. So are there other people of lived experience working on the show is a really important question to ask in that regard as well.
And Candy, you're a comedian, but you've done a lot of acting too.
I have, and I actually don't think that's how he meant it. I don't think he meant that the trans actors aren't acting. I think he's saying when you don't give an actor an opportunity to step into a role that is not natural to them. And the role that I kept thinking of when I thought about this is if you think back to the movie The World According to Garp, which I think was around 1978, 79, John Lithgow plays a transgendered woman in that who was a professional football player who transitioned. And he played that with such grace and such tenderness. And it was a time when I'm not sure you would have found a trans actor who could carry a movie of that size. And to think of losing that role because we wouldn't have allowed John to play it freaks me out. But having said that, you put somebody who is not Indigenous in some feathers in a movie, and I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. So it's a weird thing for me in that way, because I also think, like, as a queer actor, I want to be able to play straight people. I want to play whatever that I want to go out to play. So I don't want it to like zip back on me in that way.
That's interesting. I'm going to make a confession on the show, because if anybody does a deep dive, this is 25 years ago, maybe more than 25 years ago. I was cast as an Indigenous princess.
I knew we were cousins.
You knew it.
I knew it. I knew it.
No, but I'm not Indigenous, But listen, and so I look back on that time and I cringe.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was a baby. I mean, I should know better, but today, thank goodness that we do. Beth, I want to mine your mind a little bit, because do you have to be, I don't know, a drag queen to play a drag queen in a movie?
Like the big part about it for me is like you got to make sure you're coming from a place of respect and, and a place of knowledge and, do your research. Do I disagree that someone shouldn't be able to play a role because they don't have personal experience with the role? Not necessarily. Like I still feel like people should have equal opportunities, but prioritizing people who have those personal experiences with the role and, in my personal opinion, will be able to do amazing things with that role because they can really connect with it.
There's a great documentary right now on Netflix about Rita Moreno, and it's called The Girl That Just Wanted to Go For It. And the whole start of her career, they had her playing Indigenous people with dirty makeup on or Cuban people with dirty makeup on. She's Puerto Rican. And she said every accent she did was the same, and white people didn't understand that she played like it was, you know what I mean?
They didn't even get it.
But she talked about, like, she's got an EGOT, but she talked about the fact that, like, her career couldn't have happened had she not taken those roles, because there was nothing else being offered. Check it out. It's a great documentary and a really good look at this very topic.
Yeah, and Kai, maybe I can mind you for this as well, because, when I think back to you had mentioned transgender actors, and you remember when Jeffrey Tambor was winning all the awards for, playing a transgender woman in the show Transparent, and it was actually Jeffrey himself who, I believe at several award shows, said, like, I hope one day it's not me, the guy standing up here playing a trans woman and winning awards. I hope it's trans women winning awards for playing trans women. And then fast forward and you have a show like Pose, And, you know, right out of the gate, it's like they cast 5 transgender women who were playing. And I thought to myself, maybe that's the stepping stone. Like maybe the evolution was to bring those marginalized stories to the mainstream. It was done so with an actor like a Jeffrey Tambor, so you could usher in the poses of the world. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, you know, I struggle with that one. I think on the one hand, I really get what you're saying, and I think that's kind of true. But also, I just really wish that we had lived in a world where folks were thinking about, you know, the best person to play a trans character or the best person to play an Indigenous character is an Indigenous or trans person, respectively. And when I think about today, like I'm so excited for the actresses of Pose and also all the folks working on Pose who are trans. I really just want those opportunities for career advancement to go to trans actors. It's not like it's really easy to be a trans actor and go play someone not trans, you know? So, you know, here in the 21st century, I still really kind of bristle at the idea of a non-trans person playing a trans person.
I hear that. Diversify the pool. Hey.